Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Welcome to day 108 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. Today, our show is sponsored by My Saint, My Hero. They are a Catholic jewelry company that make wearable blessings. I wear their jewelry. They have bracelets, necklaces, earrings, rings. They have something for women, men, and children. Right now, I am wearing their Divine Mercy bracelet. Very appropriate. So if you are interested in checking out their stuff, you can find them at www.mysaintmyhero.com. So today is going to be a lot of fun because we are going to talk about God's creation. And I really just want you to think about all the amazing things that you have seen in creation. And I'm going to tell you some of my favorites. So our readings today are from Notebook 1, Numbers 466 through 470. Time of Confession. My confessor, Father Sapotsko, asked me if at that moment Jesus was there and if I could see him. Yes, he is here and I can see him. He then told me to ask Jesus about certain persons. Jesus did not answer me, but looked at him. However, after the confession, when I was reciting my penance, Jesus spoke these words to me: "Go and console him on my behalf." Not understanding the meaning of these words, I immediately repeated to him what Jesus had told me to do. Throughout the whole retreat, I was in uninterrupted communion with Jesus and entered into an intimate relationship with him with all the might of my heart. The day of the renewal of vows. At the beginning of Holy Mass, I saw Jesus in the usual way. He blessed us and then entered the tabernacle. Then I saw the Mother of God in a white garment and blue mantle with her head uncovered. She approached me from the altar, touched me with her hands, and covered me with her mantle, saying, "Offer these vows for Poland. Pray for her." This was on August 15th. On the evening of that same day, I felt in my soul a great yearning for God. I do not see him at this moment with my bodily eyes as I have on other occasions, but I sense his presence and yet do not grasp him with my mind. This causes me great yearning and torment beyond words. I am dying from the desire to possess him, to be drowned in him forever. My spirit pursues him with all its might. There is nothing in the world that could comfort me. O love eternal, now I understand in what close intimacy my heart was with you. For what else can satisfy me in heaven or on earth except you, O my God, in whom my soul is drowned? One evening, as I looked up from my cell to the sky and saw the beautiful star-strewn firmament and the moon, an inconceivable fire of love for my Creator welled up within my soul, and unable to bear the yearning for him that arose within my soul, I fell on my face, humbling myself in the dust. I glorified him for all his works, and when my heart could no longer bear what was going on within it, I wept aloud. Then my guardian angel touched me and spoke to me these words: "The Lord orders me to tell you to rise from the ground." I did so immediately, but felt no consolation in my soul. The yearning for God grew even stronger in me. I love this last little paragraph where she is in her cell and she's looking up at the sky and she sees the beautiful star-strewn firmament and the moon, and it causes a great desire and love within her heart for God. And she even describes it as love for my Creator welled up within my soul, and I was unable to bear the yearning for him that arose within my soul. And I think creation, God's creation, is such a great way to get in touch with him because it is so magnificent and so beautiful. One of my pet peeves is when people talk about having a bucket list. If you have a bucket list, don't worry, I don't hate you. I just don't like usually the intention that is behind a bucket list, because usually the idea is I'm going to list off all these things, I'll go see them, take a picture, and then I'm done with it. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea that we're just kind of consuming something in order to say that we've done it. Now, I think experiences are awesome, and I encourage people to go out and experience the world, especially in creation. But I just don't like the mentality behind the bucket list, because oftentimes when people have told me that they have bucket lists, I'll be like, oh, what's some of the things on your bucket list? They'll say to me, oh, I went to, the Grand Canyon and San Francisco, and I went to see the Eiffel Tower. And I'll say, oh gosh, tell me what you thought. And people can't tell me anything. They're like, oh yeah, it was great. I'm like, what'd you feel when you were at the Grand Canyon? And they just don't give me anything. And I think the reason behind it is because the intention is just to do it and not immerse yourself in it, and to really just soak it up and drink it in. And so I thought today it would be fun to kind of just marvel at God's creation. Sister Faustina is doing it in her room, and I just love the vision of her laying on her bed, looking out the window at the heavens, and just kind of burning with love for God because his creation is so magnificent. So I'm going to give you some of my top creation things that I have seen. And then I encourage you to, think about yours. And if you can, and if you remember, if you have the time, drop it in the comment section on my Facebook page or even on my website. I would love to hear the different things in creation that you have seen that just kind of taken your breath away. So the first one for me is the Grand Canyon. We had lived in California, not too far from the Grand Canyon, but when we lived there, we just never got a chance to go over and see it. And so I told my husband, if we're ever stationed back on the West Coast, we are going to see the Grand Canyon. Well, we got stationed in Las Vegas. And not long before we left Las Vegas, we made the trip over to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And I was in such awe of the magnitude of the Grand Canyon. It's so deep and so wide and so big. And it just takes your breath away at how huge it is and how it's just carved by water and glaciers. And it was just awesome. And we walked along that south rim, and there's no gate there. So you just kind of walk along, and if you weren't paying attention, off you go. But you have to be very careful. But the grandeur of it all is just something that I think back to often. My next one would be a sunrise hike in Colorado. We were there in 2010 at Estes Park at the YMCA of the Rockies for my husband's family reunion. And his cousin, who was very ambitious, I love her to death, she tried to encourage all the cousins to get up for a sunrise hike. And we were all kind of like, oh man, we're going to have to get up at like 4 a.m. for this. Oh, grumble, grumble, grumble. But she's like, no, come on, it'll be great. And so she talked us into it. We got up in the morning super early. My 2 girls were, old enough that they weren't toddlers or anything. We get out and we have a guide that takes us on this hike. It's dark, and we get to this kind of precipice. And it's just as the sun is breaking over the mountains. And it was just so awesome. It was like the world was waking up, and it was such a beautiful sight to see. And I just remember thinking, each day God gives us this gift. And the dawn is breaking. It's a new day, a new chance. And it was just glorious. It was so beautiful. Oh gosh, I thanked my husband's cousin for dragging us along because it was so worth it. It was just breathtaking. The next on my list is the solar eclipse in 2017. Now, this was a trip that we took with that same cousin up to Yellowstone National Park. And we were going to be in the path of the solar eclipse. So on the day of the solar eclipse, we got up super early. We had been camping out. We got to a spot that was in the perfect direct path of being able to see the solar eclipse really well. We had our glasses. We kind of camped out for the day until it happened. We had a tent, we brought our breakfast. And as the solar eclipse started to happen, the shadows got weird and the kids were playing with the shadows, and the world had this very kind of eerie blue-gray tinge to it. And then we put on our glasses, and when the solar eclipse happened and we could take them off, it was unreal. Everybody around us was just, whoa! And it was so cool. It was the coolest solar thing I have ever seen in my life. And I can't even describe how awesome it was. It was just so cool. And, everybody was looking around and the world had this weird glow to it. And the world just felt like a alien movie. It was just the coolest. My last one that I'll tell you about is we were stationed in Florida from 2006 to 2009. And there was an island called Shell Island in Panama City. And you would have to take a boat over to it. On one side of it, it was just kind of like the hangout party place where all the boats were and all the kids were just swimming because it was in the bay area. That was the bay side of the island. And so the water was calm and kids could swim and people were barbecuing and just having a good time. But if you walked across the snow white sand, if you've ever been in Panama City, it's just sugar white. You walk across it to the other side, to the ocean side. There are no houses. There are no buildings. There's barely anything. It's just sand and open ocean. It's just the most beautiful scenery with the sugar white sand and the turquoise water and the blue sky. I dream about Shell Island sometimes because it was so peaceful and just so calming, and the colors were just like a painting. I just love it. It was just so great. So I think it's important to thank God for his creation because there are so many beautiful and wonderful things to see. And it's so good to just marvel at what he's given us to enjoy. And don't look at it as a bucket list, something to check off. If you go and get out into God's creation, just marvel in it and soak it up. Sit there. You don't always have to have your phone out to take pictures and document the time. Just soak it up and really enjoy it. And like Sister Faustina lying in her bed looking at the heavens, just let it arouse within your soul a great love for God. I would love to hear some of your favorite creation places. Maybe I've been there, maybe not, but if you have time or if you remember, share it with us, and I would love to see what you guys put down. But that's all for today. I will see you back here for day 109, and until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.